Welcome back, Daily Fantasy followers. It's good to see you guys again. Last night was an interesting night on FanDuel. We had a good night ourselves. Hope you guys did as well. And we have our picks tonight. There's a smaller slate with less games of maybe I think 3 earlier games, 8:15-ish, and then some more games around 10 o'clock, so Eastern time. So we got a lot going on tonight. A lot of games going on right now. But for tonight's main slate, our first batter of the night is Cody Bellinger for the Dodgers. 5,100 on FanDuel, 5,800 on DraftKings. He's fairly expensive here, but from just a matchup standpoint, against Gray, he's 8 for 11 with 4 extra base hits and only 1 strikeout, and his average is 727, on base percentage 750. So I know it's a small sample size, but with a guy like Bellinger who's fairly consistent, and if he doesn't do well, he does well the next game. Well, guess what? He had 3.2 last game, and which means he's due for one of 3 outcomes here, where he had, out of his last four games, 21.7, 24.9, 27.9, and 3.2 last game. So we're thinking he's going to come back. When you look at his stats, he kind of does that. He has his off days, and then he goes off. So I think today with this matchup, I think it's a no-brainer. The smaller slate, too. I think that Cody Bellinger, you can stack your lineups around him or work around him and use him as your anchor tonight, especially in the outfield. Next, we have Ketel Marte, and Marte has been one of those guys that's been talked about now. He's pretty well known that he's been back from injury, and I'm reading here there's a chance he may play center field as well. There's a chance, so he's back to, it looks like, full strength. He went 0 for 5 on Friday, but he's batting .412, so 7 for 17 over the 4 games since his return. So he's been okay, and I like the matchup here. I don't think Drew Pomeranz is going to hold him back. 2-8 record, 6.79 ERA. I don't think he can handle what Marte is bringing to the plate, especially lately. I would say the season in general. He's just had an amazing season. And I think that tonight, with the smaller slate again, I think him and Bellinger maybe some guys you can think about spending money on. But for other options here, we have Khris Davis for Oakland. That's Khris Davis with a K. 3,400 on FanDuel, 3,600 on DraftKings. He's in a situation here where I have him with Marcus. I also have Marcus Semien, shortstop for Oakland, 3,400 as well on FanDuel, 4,100 on DraftKings. And the two of them together could be a stack option here. Khris Davis, monitor him. He got hit by a pitch 2 days ago. Took Friday off, so let's see if he's in the lineup tonight before you lock it up. But at this time today, we're not really sure. But if he does play, he's facing Tyler Skaggs. He's 9 for 21 against him with 4 home runs. So if he plays, we like it. We like it a lot. And he's 3,400, so it's cheap. And Semien also doing really well against Skaggs, 10 for 24. So pretty close. And he has 2 home runs in that time. And Semien, he's not entirely a home run hitter, so he can hit. He has the potential, but he's not a power guy. So when he does have a chance to hit home runs against a pitcher, I like to take him if I could. And I think this is a situation where Tyler Skaggs can't. I think that Semien could potentially do something here against Skaggs, maybe a few extra base hits. He'll definitely score a run or 2 here. But I think that he'll get on base as well, which is important. And at 3,400 on FanDuel, that's all you can ask for, really. Maybe a stolen base as well. Moving on. George Springer outfield, 4,400 on FanDuel, 5,400 on DraftKings. Now, Springer was injured for a while. He hit a home run 3 games ago, and in the time that surrounding the time he hit the home run, he had a hit in each game. He had an RBI in his. Oh, sorry, wrong date here. So he's had 4 games back. He's got a 3.24.7, a 3, and a 6. Now, I think the matchup here against Seattle is better for him. Kikuchi has a 5.11 ERA, so he's been hit around. And Seattle hasn't been scoring a lot of runs, so I think that there's a chance Houston could just blow out Seattle here. With Verlander pitching, I think that there's a chance that this game could be low scoring. But I think some of these stalwarts in the Houston lineup, I think, will be the guys tonight in that game. And I think Springer, as the leadoff hitter, will enjoy the success of that. So look for Springer to have a good night tonight. He's expensive on DraftKings. He's also pretty expensive on FanDuel. But you're waiting for him to have that big breakout game. That home run wasn't enough for me. I'm waiting for a home run, a double, RBI, a few RBIs, and maybe a stolen base if we're lucky here. But in the outfield, I think if you're gonna pay up, I think Bellinger is the go-to guy here for sure. And Springer, if you could fit him, sure. And Davis is a good value guy at 3,400. And Marte is fairly expensive, but he's in your second base slot. So mix and match them. Do what you got to do. And the slate starts at 8:15, and I'm stacking Oakland against Skaggs in LA. Oakland beat LA last night. They scored some runs. They scored 7 runs, I believe. So they have the potential to put up some runs against LA. If Khris Davis is back, I think, it's looking even better. So look at a Oakland stack with Semien and Davis and some other guys in there. Do a few, and you have some options. All right, moving on to the pitchers. Our first pitcher is Zack Greinke, 9,500 on both FanDuel and DraftKings. He's playing against San Francisco. San Francisco's offense does not scare me. In 215 appearances against Greinke, plate appearances, the team is batting .214. So Greinke's had success against San Francisco. They're playing at San Francisco in a pitcher-friendly park. And San Francisco's offense hasn't been very great of late. So I like Greinke tonight as well. Let's see some of these guys. We got Joe Panic, for example, 5 for 30 against Greinke. Longoria, 5 for 28. Let's see. That's it. That's all I see here. And it's, guys like that, those matchups are scary. If you're picking San Francisco offensive players, it doesn't make sense against Greinke tonight. His salary is second. I think it's second highest to Verlander, so you're paying up a little bit for him. But speaking of paying up, Justin Verlander, 11.5 on FanDuel, 11.5 on DraftKings. He's expensive, but he's playing Seattle, who has not done well against Verlander in the past. We have Navarez, 2 for 11. And Malik Smith, 1 for 13. Some random ones. I got some other guys here who are also not doing so hot against him. It's basically the bottom of the order. I would say is not going to do well against Verlander. most of these guys in the Seattle lineup just haven't been doing well in general. Seattle has just not been good. So I really like Verlander here in a situation where he's at home. He's playing against a just a tough, beaten down team in Seattle at this point. They've dealt with a lot of nonsense and injuries and whatnot, and they've been kind of held back a bit of late, especially this past week. So I like Verlander to take advantage of that this week and uh, just maybe blanket Seattle, maybe get 0 runs against him and 10 Ks like we know he's capable of. I mean, the guy's just lethal. So tonight on a slate where there's not too many games, I like Verlander. I like what he's going to give you. If you could find enough hitters to offset his price with some of our picks that we had before, then maybe he's the pick for you. Finally, if you're looking for some salary relief, you got Brett Anderson for Oakland against LA in LA. His FanDuel salary is 7,100 and his DraftKings salary is 5,700. Wow. So he is very cheap. He might be one of the cheapest or potentially the cheapest on the slate. So, you got to look at him at least and just see if he's a viable guy. And Brett Anderson, the team is batting 159 against him. That's terrible. Just to name a few. Simmons, 0 for 12. Pujols, 1 for 10. Trout, 2 for 12. That's all I see here. So, some of these guys that are the stalwarts in LA's offense struggle against Anderson. Now, when you look at his salary, you could tell that there's a chance that this is the night that they all come back from their slump against Anderson, and they just destroy him. So there's a chance that happens. So keep that in mind as well. There's some risk here. That's all I'm saying. LA's offense has had its moments, so you never really know. Like I said, so you are risking something here with the lower salary, but look at the difference in price here for the top tier guys compared to a guy that is a flyer that can get you what you need with that value, and then you can stack your hitters on a night when there's a smaller slate. I like that as a tournament option here. Verlander and Greinke are no doubters, compared to Anderson. And Anderson is more of a tournament play, and Verlander and Greinke you can use in cash games. And anything that's less tournament oriented, you'd probably be fine with those guys. They'll be heavily owned, but they'll do well. That's our fantasy lineups, our fantasy players, our advice for today. Good luck, guys.
You could receive access to expert picks every day during baseball season. Our parlay of the day gets you 3 picks each day. We also offer live betting advice on YouTube Live and Patreon. You could also sign up by clicking the Patreon link below. Follow us on social media as well. Our Twitter handle is @sportsbets_DFS, and our Instagram page is bet_on_rich. If you sign up in the next week on rtsportsbets.com and use the promo code MLB22, that's MLB22, you'll receive 50% off on your order.